Hello and welcome along to another episode of this FM22 One Club story from Hemel Hempstead Town with me, Daniel. We're back today for part 118, and you know what? Things are going all right. I'm getting a little bit frustrated because I don't think we've seen anywhere near the best of this side this season, but we're ticking along, we're getting results, and we're in the mix. And quite frankly, that's all you can be asking for when you're not right at your best. Today we'll go away to Chelsea, a big one in that battle for the Europa League places, and then away to Antwerp as we try and wrap up top spot in the Europa League. And to be fair, we have struggled away from home there this season. So if you're looking forward to seeing how we get on, whether we can top the Europa League group, avoid that last 32 game, then please do put a thumbs up on the video, subscribe down below for daily FM22 content. Of course, we had a new series yesterday. If you haven't seen it yet, episode 1 is up in the eye above. Please do give it a go. I hope you're looking forward to it. Something a little bit different by our channel standards. There's also links up there to the Twitch channel, the football podcast, and the merchandise store too. And you can support the show as a channel member by clicking the join button down below. But thank you as always for your incredible support as we reflect on a bit of a mixed 2 months here with Hemel Hempstead Town, including frustration just a few days ago. So if we go and have a look at the schedule to see what's been happening since you were last with me, it's been okay. We've talked about the fact we were playing that run of fixtures where we expected to get results. We were playing a lot of the bottom half sides, and while we have picked up those results, I think actually, and I'm going to check my fact before I say this, since that Watford game, right after the last episode, every Premier League game has been settled by 1 goal either way. So that tells you everything you need to know. We're not blowing teams away. We're not scoring a huge amount of goals, but we are doing enough. And that's all I can ask. So you were with me as we lost away at Ajax. We bounced back with a win at home to Watford by 3 goals to 1. And even that one was a 90th minute Tyrese Ricketts goal. Carlos Torres had ended his goal drought with a brace prior to that. A 1-0 win at Wolves with a Jack Hanifan first half header. For a comfortable win at home to Rijeka in the Europa League. Jasinovic, Ricketts, Coronel and Harrison getting a goal apiece in that one. Then the ultimate frustration. A 1-1 draw at home to Tottenham in a game we absolutely dominated. Carlos Martin scored and then went off with a knock. What was annoying though is that it wasn't the fact we did anything wrong. Oscar Mingueza late on in the game, 92nd minute, put an absolute arrow in from 35 yards. There was nothing you could do about it. It was just one of those things. But a really good display. It seemed to set us back though, because in the midweek we lost 2-1 at home to Brighton, relegation strugglers in the Carabao Cup 4th round, so no defending that crown this time. Gael Depay, one of our former loan players, was the man to score the winner. Carlos Torres got a late consolation. Leicester we lost away at as well. They've had a really good start to the year. Soonsup Bell scored the winner for them just after Rickett had equalised. They have, I think, dropped a couple of places now. In fact, no, they're 4th. They're absolutely flying, so no real shame in losing that one. And then it's been a pretty good spell. Solid, consistent, very good defensively, but maybe not quite that stardust we're looking for. We won 2-1 at Rijeka, got a little bit lucky. Tyrese Ricketts completed a brace to get the late winner. The same scoreline at home to Norwich, who were probably the better side in this game. Martin and Torres getting goals either side of Romero's equaliser. A 1-0 win at Stoke, Mario Rickett early on. We held on and John Moore got man of the match. And then a 4-0 win at home to Ajax, which settled the nerves a bit. It seems in the Europa League this year, really good at home, really struggled away. Ricketts with a brace, Danny Harrison, who's done really well in this competition, and the youngster Louise getting the 4th goal. Before a 2-1 win at home to Brighton in the league, making amends for the cup defeat earlier in the year. Hanifan and Torres with 2 quick fire goals in the second half, but late consolation made it nervy again. And you can see the theme. We're just running out of steam late on in games, which is something we had a couple of years ago. Against Leeds, though, we were absolutely dominant, but just could not get the breakthroughs. Carlos Torres scored 1. It was equalised pretty quickly after. And we just couldn't find a winner. So another frustrating day at the office. But we go into these 2 games, and 3 in fact, if you include the United one, knowing just how big a week this is for Hemel Hempstead Town FC. Because if we go and have a look at the league, no one's really running away with it. Everyone's drawing a lot of games, bar Leicester, who have lost a few. And as a result, we're still only 5 points off the top of the league, despite only winning half of our games so far this season. That really is surprising. The bottom of the league's cut adrift a bit, but we don't really have to worry about that anymore. Having said that, we're only 4 points off being down in 8th place, and Manchester City have a game in hand. So if Leicester are able to keep that consistency up, if the resurgent Tottenham Hotspur can keep their performances consistent, then it is going to be tricky, because that top 6 or 7 battle becomes a top 8 battle. And that's even with Southampton dropping away and Newcastle inexplicably dropping to the bottom of the league now they've sold their star striker. So I'm not sure how this season's going to pan out. I could see us somehow getting into a title race if we find our best form. And I could see us just sort of trudging along and finishing higher mid-table. I really don't know. What we've got to do then is make sure we do well in the Cups too. And we'll hopefully have a good youth intake preview to enjoy soon as well. We will have a look at some of the young stars when we get to the end of season review, because they are developing quite well. I'll give you that spoiler. Let's go and get into the first game today though. A big game away at Chelsea. 7th v 5th, similar goal differences. 4 points separating the two sides, and at the same time you've got teams like Leicester who have got very winnable games, and Tottenham as well. So the ones above us should be picking up 3 points, and we need to try and keep pace. So let's get through the tactical meeting. I'd imagine Chelsea have still got a pretty good side, and I think we're just about at full strength. Despite the heavy match load, it is the first spell of 3 Premier League games in a week this season, and maybe that accounted for the second half at Leeds, I don't know. The only one who missed out in midweek was Chauvin. He was tired, so he comes back into the side. Hence, he's the only one without the heavy match load. The rest of the team is exactly as you'd expect. So it's John Moore in goal, Chauvin striker, Hanifan and Delgado at the back four, Arlan and Du, Moreira and Martin the midfield diamond, with Mario Rica and Carlos Torres up front, and the usual array of talent along the bench. Into the first game of 2. This is the more important one, let's be honest. We're already through in the Europa League, and we'll be fielding a backup side when we get to that one. So hopefully at the bridge, there's a result to come. We need to start fast if we're going to get anything. Well, former head coach legend Wesley Fofana is in the defence for Chelsea, as is Upamecano. Going forward, we mentioned at the end of the August window they'd signed McAllister at 35. They've also got Kulusevski and Claudinho in there too. It's getting a little bit younger though. There's a few more coming through, but we don't know how good they are. The longest serving interim manager in history continues as well. Neil Bath is still the man at the helm there. So let's get the lads motivated and into the first half. Hopefully a positive outcome to follow. Well, a quiet 16 minutes and we return with Chelsea in possession and playing it out to the right hand side. Annoyingly, there's a lot of space there and not really anyone closing down. The ball's into Barde, it's well blocked by Hanifan, but that is not the start we expected and not the space we really want to afford to them, as Garcia's got a corner kick into the box, headed just over unmarked. Moreira lost his man there, but we got away with one. 20 minutes on the clock, we're yet to have a shot. I mean, we're getting absolutely outclassed. Having said that, we've almost got to half time now. We've had a shot on target and the stats haven't really changed, so potentially we are growing into the game, although Chelsea seem to have finished the half strong there. So let's tell the lads to prove a point. It's not an exciting game, but 0-0 would probably be a half decent result. McAllister's off. The fitness concerns are really a worry. Arthur and Du's in a terrible shape. Moreira's not much better. We're going to have to make some changes here. Miguel Coronel will come on. We're probably going to have to bring Leacock on as well. And I wonder if we do something with Carlos Martin. Should we go to the midfield 3? Or should we wait and maybe bring on a Tyrese Ricketts who's got the pace in behind? Let's give it 5 more minutes, but the 2 centre midfielders, they've just run out of legs. And it's a corner kick to Chelsea with just over a quarter to go. It's another unmarked header for Enes, but thankfully it's straight into the arms of John Moore. And Martin is really struggling now. So do I bring on Ricketts and drop Torres in, or do I go to Luiz where I can put a midfield 3 if need be? I think that's the one I'm going to go for. Let's wait and see what this highlight does first though. As Delgado gets it on the left-hand side. Goes back to Arlan, who's dropped into that centre-half position. Delgado chips up to Leacock, the sub, through to Carlos Martin. Lovely effort that is. Just over the bar. It will be his final contribution. It's been a good game. If we can get a 0-0, it's not bad. But we know we've finished games so poorly recently that anything could still yet happen. So with 10 minutes to go, we're going to look at making some tactical tweaks. I don't want to do it too early this time though. Chelsea are down to 10 because they've had an injury after their 3 subs. So let's just go to our midfield 3, try and get a little bit more width and try and push those 2 forward. We'll leave them as they are in that shape there because Luiz probably got the most legs to catch up and probably the freshest having come on last. 1 minute plus stoppages to go and it's a throw in for Delgado at left back. Do not give the ball away. It's into Coronel. He finds Shane Leacock, who's got support, goes through to Torres, who's got him behind here. Torres puts it away. 90th minute on the road. Oh, we needed that. We have not scored a lot of late winners this season, as evidenced when we were going through the results. I was just seeing if we had anything tactically to go to our back five. I don't think we do. So we're going to time waste. We're going to be more disciplined. We're going to slow the pace down. You know all of the drills by now. We'll hold our shape. We'll drop the midfielders to support duties, because we don't need any of them to support the attacks. We'll also drop the fullbacks to defensive duties, because they're both knackered anyway. And hopefully we can keep Chelsea at bay for the last 4 minutes, because this would be an absolutely outstanding result. I'd rather draw against the bottom teams and then take 3 points off our rivals. Gives us a much better chance at finishing 5th or 6th. As we've got a throw on the left-hand side, halfway through stoppages. Torres plays a 1-2 with Delgado. Back to Hannafan and Arlan. Just don't do anything silly here. Hannafan again finds striker. Into Coronel. Turns out to Louise. Through ball to Ricker. He's in. Ricker shoots and scores. VAR will check it. It looked on to me. It was tight. I can understand why it's being checked. But I think he's alright. And if both strikers can score and we can nick a 2-0... that would be a dream outcome for this one. The first game in 2 months settled by more than 1 goal in the league. And it's a 2-0 win away at 7th place Chelsea. That is a very, very good result. The lads are inspired and motivated. Now let's go and complete the job in the Europa League at Antwerp on Thursday night. We're back for the Antwerp game where there will be changes galore. But a couple of quick bits of housekeeping first. First of all, we have had the FA Cup third round draw. We go away to Championship Peterborough in that one. And then some bad news. We have got, according to the youth intake preview, which normally drastically overrates things, we have got an average intake. So I'm hoping it'll be one of those where we have a poor intake generally, but then one absolute gem, rather than just 6 or 7 very average players. So let's keep our fingers crossed for that, but doesn't look quite at the same standard as the last couple of years. For now, though, it's all about Antwerp away. We're 2 points ahead of Ajax. We've got a better head-to-head than them as well. So if we draw, we will top the group, regardless of what Ajax do. However, I want to go out on a win. And away from home, we've been pretty poor in the Europa League. So for these young players, it's going to be a real test. As you know, we're going to rotate the 11 fully. We'll try and get some youngsters in if they're fit in the 18s. We'll be back in a minute to run through the team. Let's head into Belgium to try and top the group. Right then, we've gone for our usual fairly strong backup team to start in the 11, but then we've put 4 youngsters on the bench, and a few of them are familiar names. So Wilson and Bliss, probably the 2 stars in that youth academy at the minute. Simpson, a decent one that came through last year. And Moss, a winger, probably will never make it, but I'd like him to get an experience of a European night. So today, I don't think Egan or Dolner will get on, but this is the 11 we've gone for. It's Josh Hayes between the sticks, Danilo Jose and Peebles are the fullbacks, with Jura and Jovan as centre-half. Jura's actually had a fair few injury problems this year, but is still improving in fairness to him and getting better on the ball, which we've focused on individual training. We've got a midfield diamond of De Witte, who's largely been centre-half because of those injuries, Leacock, Coronel and Louise as the midfield 4, and in Harrison alongside Ricketts up front, both doing really well in this competition. Harrison's got 3 goals, they've all come in this tournament, and Tyrese Ricketts, well, to be fair to him, he's just goals galore, and at the moment, he's going for the top scorer record in this one, on 7 already. So away to Belgium, we'd like to get a win. We'd like to top the group in style. And of course, all of it helps the coefficient, which in our second year in Europe, we need to do as much as possible. 11 changes from the league game. It always is for the Thursday nights. But let's see if we can avoid that extra game in February by finishing up in top spot. Well, no familiar names in particular in the Antwerp team, but there are a few slightly British tinged names. So let's see how we get on in the first half as we ask the lads to prove a point. They are the side that have restricted us the most in the home fixture, albeit we had the most shots in that game, so it might have just been poor finishing. And it was Harrison's debut, so we probably can't read too much into it. But it would be nice if we could really put on a show, because we obviously threw it away at Ajax, which you saw on camera. We almost threw it away against Rijeka. We really struggled to nick a win there, and they're a side that hadn't picked up a point yet in this group. So it would be nice to put on a show, but with 15 gone, there's not really a lot happening, as Jovan's got it as centre-half to De Witte. And it is potentially a problem if we get in the top 4 this year, which I don't think we will, is what do we do with these young kids? Because we don't then be able to rotate this much. As Ricketts puts a cross in, Harrison shoots. Off the post, then the keeper. And it's cleared away downfield, but that's a good start. As Jose throws into Harrison again on the right. We've got so much pace up front with those two, and they really do cause a threat in behind. As Jura finds De Vita to Coronel, all the way back to his keeper Hayes and Jasinovic. Playing out from the back to Coronel again, who turns on it, finds Ricketts. Support from three, Leacock's one of them, to Harrison. Got a man over on the right, but instead just plays back and we start again, keeping the ball effortlessly and really trying to find that right pass rather than force it. As Jura surges forward in possession to Leacock. Jose's overlapping if he can find him. He does, but he's forced to turn back and Jura cuts inside to Leacock. Back to Coronel. There's three in front. Ricketts one to Louise to Harrison. He's 1-on-1. That is a fabulous goal. Almost got a mini round of applause out there. VAR will check it. That's definitely onside. There is no way that this gets chalked off. 1-0. Goal stands as expected. And we're back almost immediately with a Peebles throw on the left to Ricketts, who was a bit more of a provider in that first goal there. Peebles finds De Vita in his natural position again and goes back to Jovan. He plays into Coronel, who looks class, to Ricketts. Back to Coronel, over to Louise, the youngster. Gets in behind, forces a good save. Just not quite got that technical quality in front of goal yet. And it's out for a corner kick, which will be taken on the left. In-swinger from Coronel to the back post. Danilo Jose's up. Just off the top of the crossbar. It grazed it more than hitting it. But it stays 1-0. We're absolutely rampant here. We just need to get that second goal while we're on top. As Coronel's got a free kick to Louise. Wide to Ricketts and Leacock. Into the box. There's three in the middle. Ricketts is one. Forced backwards to Leacock. Across to Louise. Man on the edges. Coronel hits the post and it's cleared away. It is desperate defending from Antwerp at the moment. And as Ajax go ahead in their game, we need to keep ourselves on course for a result. Hang on a minute. It says 0-0. Am I going blind? That goal was awarded, wasn't it? Did I really read that wrong? I'm pretty sure it said goal awarded. I'm going to watch the highlight again. Sorry. Because I need to see this. I want to see if the highlight says goal disallowed. Because it certainly looked onside. I have to go through the whole thing again because it was a long highlight, wasn't it? I'm pretty sure that it was. So bear with us. We're building up to it now. Let me know in the comments because you'll be able to pause and go back quicker than I can here. I was so sure it said goal awarded. I didn't see the referee signal. And it's 0-0. Let's have a look. Right, we've got to be coming to it now. I forgot how many passes were in this move. I would have looked afterwards if I'd remembered. So here we go. Leacock to Coronel. This is where it came from. I mean, he's onside to start with. The ball goes in. Let's see what the replay says now we're going back to it. The defenders appeal for offside. The referee's gone for the fingers in the air. He's consulting with VAR. Calls the goal back for offside. Did that happen the first time round? I'm doubting everything I've ever seen now. I can't wait to edit this and find out. It's nearly half time. It's 0-0. And I'm pretty sure that I thought we were ahead for most of the half. But it's been a really good performance. We're going to ask the lads to prove a point. And now I've got to think, am I going insane or not? As we've got a throw on the right for Danilo Jose to De Vita. Crosses in, but it's a flex. Headed in from Jovan. Ricketts attacks, but the keeper's there first. Really good play. They're talking about the blocks in the box by the defender. The last thing we want to do, though, is concede on the counter. As Jura finds Jovan and Peebles. I still can't get over that in the first half. I really just want to pause the recording and look. As Louise finds Ricketts. Back he goes to Coronel. Through to Ricketts again. A goal now, and everything will be back to normal. Peebles crosses. Louise is there. There's no doubt about that one. 1-0 Hemel Hempstead Town early in the second half. It should be 2, but we won't worry about that. We've got the goal in the end. As we're back with Antwerp, not long after the kick-off here, Sarmiento down the right. Be an absolutely awful time to concede as Hayes comes out and claims it well. Out to Jovan, a centre-half. On the ball to Coronel, long over the top towards Ricketts. He's got the legs on the defender, keeps it in on the left. There's 2 attacking the box. Louise getting in there. Here he is on the edge. Volley's just over. That's where we miss Carlos Martin. He scores a lot of his goals there. But Antwerp yet to have a shot. We are so dominant in this game. I just wonder if we regret it only being 1. If we get to the last 25 minutes, which I think we will now, and we're still ahead, I will bring on some youngsters. Because it's a great opportunity for them. As Coronel crosses to Jovan. Oh, it's off the line. Brilliant clearance from the defender. Peebles will keep it in on the left. Apologies for some of the sentences being all over the place, but I really haven't recovered from that goal being disallowed. Let's bring on David Wilson for Miguel Coronel, who had a heavy match load before. Louise will drop in. Wilson will play number 10. Bliss is going to come on for Jovan, who's not had the best game. De Witte will go centre-half. Bliss into the holding role. Leacock in for him. We're just juggling the shape about. And then I'm tempted to bring on Simpson. But he's another one that can only really play midfield. So I'm actually probably going to bring on the striker. And I'll bring on Jason Dolner for Danny Harrison. 25 minutes to go. We're 1-0 up. And hopefully we can see this out and finish top of the group. As we've got a free kick on the right with Danilo Jose. In their half to Bliss and Wilson. The two youngsters link up and find Danilo Jose. Into Dolner on the edge of the box. Not had much of a chance this year, but does well on the right. Finds Danilo Jose into Ricketts, whose shot's blocked. And eventually is hammered clear by Antwerp. They're still yet to muster a shot with 15 to go. And our expected goals is 2.5. Which really tells you how many chances we've missed. Hopefully we'll be able to add a second late on. But as long as we win, I don't really care. As Dolner gives away possession, but wins it straight back. Finds Wilson in the centre circle, and Louise dropped into that deeper role now and plays back to his centre half. As Leacock finds De Witte. He's got a chance to go left, but instead takes his man on, brings it into midfield, and Bliss finds Dolner. Dolner up to Wilson. Got support, but goes backwards to Dolner again. Has made an impact in this game in fairness, as Wilson links up with Bliss again to Leacock, Louise to Wilson, to Ricketts. The offside's close again. It'll be checked, and I'm going to watch very carefully this time, as Tyrese Ricketts puts the ball away with aplomb. That normally means offside. Goal awarded. It definitely says it, and it definitely stays 2-0. 4 minutes of stoppage time. We've deserved that second goal. And there is the full-time whistle. I mean, I'd love to do a proper outro to this, but I'm probably going to make a hash of it. We'll go and see when we're next going to be back. But there's only one thing I want to see now. I want to go and see the moment that first goal went in and see if it actually was. I'm sure a few of you are shouting at me in the comments, calling me an idiot by now, because I'm sure it said goal disallowed and I just didn't read it. I'm so sure it was the opposite. Let's go and see which games we're going to be back for. And I think it's going to be our favourite time of the year. With that win, we haven't got European football till March now, and it's in between United and Chelsea again. The FA Cup third round is a winnable tie, so I think it's going to be transfer deadline day at the end of January, and then Manchester City away from home. It's a tough game. City are right behind us now after a poor start, so that is going to be crucial again in the race for the European places in the league. So 9 big Premier League games and the start of our FA Cup run before that, and then we will be back at the end of January. And maybe there'll be one more addition to the squad if we can find that elusive world-class centre-half. In the meantime, though, if you did enjoy this episode, 2 really professional performances and a really impressive win at Chelsea, then please do put a thumbs up on it. Let me know in the comments if you think there's anywhere else we should improve in January. And let me know in the comments if I'm insane, because I still don't know the outcome of that first goal yet. If you want to stay up to date and find out how we get on the rest of the season, whether I get confused by any more goal decisions, then please do subscribe down below and turn that notification bell on. There's daily FM22 content from 2 long-term stories, including our brand new save, which started yesterday afternoon. You can find episode 1 of that up in the eye above. Please do give it a try. There's also links up there to the Twitch channel, the merchandise store and the football podcast too. But above my head now is yesterday's episode 1. I hope you enjoyed that, and I'll see you back here in a couple of days' time.